Hello everybody, this is Gareth Cahoon Speaks back here with another video. I'd like you to hit the subscribe bar, give me a thumbs up if you like the content, or hit the notification bell to be notified when I post my next post. Or otherwise you can look me up at my website, which is www.garethcahoon.co.uk. Or if you'd like to support the ministry, you can do so through PayPal, garethcahoon3 at gmail.com. This one is about Usvp uh, Vance visit to Armenia and Azerbaijan, a win for Israel and a blow to Iran and Russia. VP's brief but significant trip to the Caucasus sent strong signals about American aspirations in the region. When US Vice President J.D. Vance swung through the Caucasus on an official visit this week, his presence put the American stamp on the region and made a statement that reverberated to Russia, Iran, and all the way to the Middle East. Advancing a peace process set in motion in the White House last August between Armenia and Azerbaijan, Vance became the highest ranking American official ever to visit Yerevan and the first vice president to return to Baku since Dick Cheney in 2008. With the region long under Russian and Soviet influence, this evolving American involvement presents a significant twist in the geological landscape and ups the ante when it comes to who controls regional connectivity. US President Donald J. Trump brokered the institution of a land corridor which has the potential to connect China and Central Asia to Europe and the Middle East. The eponymously named Trump Route for International Peace and Prosperity, the TRIPP, will span the 36-mile southern border of Armenia, with Iran connecting Azerbaijan to its enclave Nakhchivan, while opening up the possibility for mass regional commerce. This comes after 4 decades of war between Armenia and Azerbaijan over disputed territories, which culminated in 120,000 Americans fleeing Nagorno-Karabakh in September 2023, following a deadly 10-month siege imposed on it by Azerbaijan. First stop, Armenia. The deals made during Vance's visit underscored Trump's diplomacy through economic approach. Both Armenia and Azerbaijan signed unprecedented energy, business, and security agreements with America. Vance's first stop was Armenia, the first nation to declare Christianity its national religion back in the year 301 AD. Vance, who is a Christian, resonated deeply with the region's roots, with the religious roots of the country. This is one of the oldest Christian countries in the entire world, a true bedrock of Christian civilization and culture. Vance said, "A devout Christian myself, I know the meaning of this country to the entire world and to the region that the Prime Minister and I share." Armenia and the United States struck deals enabling Armenia to purchase American drone technology and providing an inroad to the US military market. Another deal gives Armenia's access to American nuclear technology to upgrade its aging Soviet-era nuclear plant. These breakthrough agreements coincided with $4 billion investment in a data center that will put Armenia in the top 5 AI clusters in the world, said Stefan Sargayan, a former governor and the funding organizer of the Republic of Armenia prayer breakfast. This will allow Armenia to become more powerful and prosperous, Sarsan said in an interview with All Israel News. A lot of the dictators in those, or the detractors to these agreements, try to paint it as Armenia moving away from Russia and going towards the West. Armenia is rather restoring and increasing the levels of its autonomy to conduct its own foreign policy, to be a state. Armenia is trying to come further to the centre and enhance its autonomy and its statehood. Sergeyev views the Vice President's visit as a US effort to institutionalise the peace process, still in the beginning stages and not widely accepted in either country. For America to have a more profitable risk calculation, obviously it is better off to make a deal with these two countries, he said. This brings them to a state of trade and opens borders so that the larger American plan can work. The nuclear technology deal, also titled in favour of the US. For over a decade, Armenian authorities have been negotiating on who will replace the existing power plant with a new one. Sergeyev said, winning out over companies from Russia, China, South Korea and France. The agreement will open a new chapter in the deepening energy partnership between Armenia and the United States. Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan said at a joint news conference with Vance, Sergeyev an advisor to Pashinyan, was careful to note the dispute that despite the advancement of the US, Armenia has formal ties with Russia and is not presently an ally of America, despite active, even expedited steps to make it happen. Armenia is still formally part of the Collective Security Treaty Organization, the CSTO, aligning it with Russia, but froze its membership in 2024 when the organization failed to defend Armenia against Azerbaijani troops crossing the border onto Azerbaijan. The trip places the US at the centre of the region. It hasn't formally had a foothold. This is a major land corridor that allows trade, transportation and crisscrossing of goods and energy across and made mass from China to Europe. This creates a very important, very visible piece of real estate for the United States to integrate into its economic and geopolitical calculations. Sergeyev noted that if you want to transport all the oil and gas that comes out of Central Asia, it is either through Russia or this land corridor. So this is a deal between the US, Azerbaijan, and I think that given these two things that they needed for security and for their people, energy routes and nuclear energy was a good thing. And if it brings the two nations to peace, well, that can only be a good thing. Shalom, Maranatha, and Hallelujah.